your missions, 20 plus hours commanding an aircraft, you weren't just sitting there programming an FMS system and turning the autopilot on. You were using stuff like celestial navigation, LORAN navigation. You were doing in-flight refueling, the low-level work, as you mentioned. I mean, were they using obviously they were using like a sextant and a celestial chart?
Yes, I mean, the navigators there were superb. I mean, they had to be very detailed. And then we were getting other SI came on board. Then we like offensive avionics systems with some INSs, but we still had backup. They had to still do celestial nav to make sure that if that equipment went out, they could still do the mission. I mean, and we had some really good navigators. And my brother actually was a KC-135 navigator, so he was always like, he was precise all the time. And so it in-flight air refueling was challenging in a B-52. In a B-1, it wasn't as challenging because it was very responsive. But I remember the first time I in-flight air refueled as a co-pilot, the captain goes, "Hey, you want to try it?" or aircraft commander would call him, go, "Yeah, let me try it." Because he would go in, stable as a rock. Then he goes, "Okay, Dave, your turn. You're like 20 feet out. You're coming in." And all of a sudden, the tanker keeps going like this. I go, "Hey, why is he moving?" He goes, and then the captain keeps waving at the boom operator as we go across the screen. And I go, "Hey, Dave, it's not him, it's you." What? But then I got, he pretty much taught me how to do it. So it was a lot of fun. Low level in the B-52 was a lot of hard work because you physically felt beat up. So I don't know how the navigators did it, electronic warfare officer and the gunner at the time, because they didn't have the windows that we had to see out, so they were getting, you can imagine a lot of them got a lot of seasick or air sickness, and it took them a while to get used to that. But even when super bumpy, low level in the B-52, I mean, you did it for about 2 hours per mission. So you're going 320 miles an hour, 350. So you really felt it. I mean, in the B-1, so there's a difference. I like to compare it like in a B-1, the low level at the time we did low levels, it's like a hot butter knife cutting through butter. It was so smooth. I mean, it was just day and night. And in those missions, instead of being 12-hour missions, because we're going so much faster, were like 5.5-hour missions.
Aha. Now, you mentioned the B-1, and you were awarded the B1B Lancer in 1987.
Correct.
The bone, as you called it. I learned a new term. I didn't know it was called the bone. So you were aircraft commander, and you were stationed where, in Grand Forks?
I wanted to go to like a more southern base, like Wichita, Kansas. So I told my wife at the time, "Hey, I'm going to put in for the B-1." She goes, "Okay, go for it. Where's it based at?" I go, "Well, Abilene." "Oh, we can be in Texas." I go, "Well, I don't know. I think we can get to McConnell easy though, to Wichita, Kansas." So, and then the other base was Ellsworth, South Dakota, Ellsworth Air Force Base, which we were already stationed there at Rapid City. Well, I got the assignment, so I got good news and bad news. She goes, "What?" I go, "I got the assignment." She goes, "What's the bad news?" Because we didn't get Abilene. She goes, "We got Wichita, Kansas." I go, "No." "What? We're going back to Ellsworth, South Dakota?" I go, "Well, about 350 miles north of that. We're going." She goes, "What?" "Don't worry, it'll be about the same." No, it wasn't. It's a lot colder.
How many polar bears?
Kids were like, but the kids loved it. Of course, they were kids. They loved the snow. And then later, I got a warm assignment, a warm climate assignment. And every night they said their prayers, "Please help us go back to Grand Forks, North Dakota." I'm going like, "Why are you saying that? Do that when you're grown up." Because no, we want to go back now while our friends are there, because they were used to moving. They knew after 3 years their friends would move too. Like, pays your prayer, don't they? But that's where I was.
Yeah. Well, you were telling me about some of the amazing operations that you were a part of on the B-1. And when you said red flag, I thought, wait a minute, no way.
Yes.
Tell me first off, how the heck did you get assigned to a red flag mission?
Well, but believe it or not, I mean, we actually did it in B-52s also, which was a lot of fun. But a lot of times in B-52s, we would would go to the red flag and land back at our home station. We couldn't even enjoy Las Vegas, right? And then camaraderie with the other aviators there. But in the B-1, we actually not deployed, but we did a temporary duty assignment there. So So we were all kind of new, and our operations officer goes, "Hey, you guys are going to red flag. You're one of the first crews, and you're going to be one of the first crews that's going to use the terrain following system, because there were some issues with it before. Of course, it was day, it's good weather and everything." So he goes, "So when you hook it up, I want you to go hard ride. There's soft, medium, and hard. Soft, it kind of like floats a little bit over the mountain. Medium's a little bit more, and then hard ride, it hugs the terrain, just to keep that, in case against surface air missiles and stuff, get below the radar." So anyway, so we did that, and the co-pilot and I, man, we couldn't believe how the machine responded. Going point, 8-9 Mach, and 200 feet off the ground. And,
Wow.
I mean, our eyes were literally this big, and our grins when we landed, we're like, "Can you believe that?" Because it's incredible. And as we were doing that, also, a fighter came after us, and because the first mission we went there, and so he's coming halfway around, and the defensive systems operator is saying, "Okay, he's so many miles, and he's fading away." And we landed. We were met by our advanced team. And he goes, "Oh man, he shot you down." And the F-15 pilot wasn't that far away, and he came and goes, "What the heck?" Well, he said something else, but he goes, "I thought you guys were a B-52." So I started my turn, and then all of a sudden I realized, "Oh man, this is a fast move. This is a B-1." He goes, "I could have got you." He goes, "But I would have flamed out. I would have run out of fuel."
Ah,
But that was fun. I mean, that whole time, flying the red flag missions. I mean, like I said, I never went to combat, so I don't have that experience. But the red flag was so cool, because in B-52s, the things that we like, the F-111s would always smoke us. We had an area where it was kind of like a free fall. You just kind of like a flat. You just go as fast as you can. And the F-111s would smoke us. Now, I remember we were flying this mission, and I see something out there, and I go, "Hey, Jamie," I go, "Does that look like it looks like a F-111?" He goes, "Yeah, it's F-111, So I go, "Okay, I've been waiting all my life for this." So we smoked them. I go, "Yes, we finally did, finally." But it was a lot of good camaraderie and some banter, between the aircraft,
yeah.
the pilots and stuff. So a lot of good rivalry type things. So I really enjoyed the military, because we had that camaraderie, and then our mission was so critical. So it was a great career. I enjoyed it. I mean, and then I was looking forward to my aviation, to my commercial career, which I wasn't sure I was going to get to do, because when I first learned about it, I go, I'm already like 34, 35. And at that time, when it was regulated, you couldn't be older than, I don't know if it was 32 or 33. You would miss the boat, and then it became open to a lot of us after that.